All right. So thank you so much for being here today. And let's go ahead and start with a quick meditation. This is just to allow us to arrive in the space. It's a beautiful way to just let go of the day and be here. So I invite you to close your eyes or maybe just have a soft gaze, looking down, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And just notice your breath. Nothing to do here. All we're doing is just noticing that we're breathing, noticing the rise and fall of your chest without any judgment. We're putting no labels here. We're just noticing, is the air coming in and filling up your chest first, or is it filling up your belly first? Now take one deep breath in through your nose and allow for a slow exhale out through your mouth. Let the breath be a signal to your body. I am here. I am safe. This is my time. Taking another deep breath in, this time holding at the top, holding the breath, feeling that stillness. This time noticing anything you may have carried into this space today, any stress, any worry, any busyness, even excitement. Just noticing without judgment. And when you're ready, you may exhale. Noticing your natural breath now. Gently beginning to set the day aside as this is your moment to be here, to be present. Perhaps placing one hand on your heart if that feels right. Feeling the rhythm of your chest. You don't have to fix anything, change anything, or be anything other than exactly who you are right now. Taking one final grounding breath in and out. And you may open your eyes now. Notice any shifts, any sensation, just noticing how the body feels at this moment. Wonderful. Well, thank you all for being here once again. My name is Sandy Vibes, and I'm super excited for our deep dive conversation today, where we're going to talk about radical acceptance. Um, Radical acceptance has been a powerful and life-changing practice for me, and I felt that it was so important to talk about what that means and learn exactly how to apply it on our everyday life to help ease a lot of the suffering that sometimes we have in our lives. Um, and so let's go ahead and start with I would like to first go through what is radical acceptance and then what is not radical acceptance, because I feel like that's the best way to kind of understand it a little better. And I'm curious, and we can put it in the chat. When you hear the word radical acceptance, what comes up in your mind? What do you think of? And you can go ahead and just share on the chat. Have you heard the word radical acceptance or the term radical acceptance before? And let me just put that question back in there. Yes. Nice. Accepting everything and everyone for what it is and who they are. Yes, Hannah. Yes, Tanya. Yes. Live and let live, Dar. Yes. Van, being able to accept reality, circumstances, no matter how dire. Wonderful. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Bogey the Dawn, never heard of it. Well, I'm happy you're here because we are going to go over it. And what I love doing in these discussions is that I love giving you guys a few examples, real life examples, so you can see where it applies. And then opening up the chat at the end for discussion. First time hearing it, Iris. Yes. Okay. Yay. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for those that are know what radical acceptance is or have heard it before, and for the new ones. So this could be a refresher or just maybe a deeper understanding, hopefully, for everyone. And then so let me see here. I know that somebody has their mic on, and if you can just mute, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, so what is radical acceptance? So it is a concept that's rooted in dialectical behavior therapy, or otherwise known as DBT, and it is developed by a psychologist called Marsha Linehan. And but it also dates back to ancient wisdom, and you'll hear echoes of it in Buddhism and Stoicism. And at its core, radical acceptance is the ability to be able to fully and completely accept reality as it is in this present moment without fighting it, resisting it, denying it, or wishing it was any different. And so the word radical is really what's key here. This is it isn't passive. So we're not saying, oh, you're quitting or you're, resigning to what's happening. It's not saying, well, I'm fine with everything. Okay, it is what it is. It's a bit deeper than that. It's more conscious, more whole body decision of like stop fighting with the reality. And that's the resistance. So it's learning how not to resist the fact that something has happened, an event, a circumstance. Um, and so, what is not radical acceptance? So, sometimes when you're like, okay, I'm just gonna accept it, I'm cool with it. But this doesn't, and then others might feel like I can't accept it. Like this is wrong. Why would this happen? Or why would this person do this to me? Like I have to take action. So just know that radical acceptance is not saying don't take action, right? It's not approval. It's accepting something doesn't mean you have to like it. It doesn't mean you have to agree with it, um, or want it to like stay, right? So, like a relationship, it doesn't mean that, oh my God, I'm in a really bad relationship. I'm just accepting it for what it is and I'm going to stay in it. That's not what radical acceptance is. It's also not giving up, right? So, you can accept reality, but you can still work to change that reality. It's also not weakness. So, only because you accept it does not mean that you're weak. In fact, it takes enormous courage to stop fighting and simply be with what it is. And also, it's not a spiritual bypassing. And what that means is that we're not skipping over the pain. We're not saying, like, okay, only because I'm accepting it, that means that I'm not going to feel anything. Um, or we're just going to move through, we're just going to move on. No, it's really just learning how to sit with it without adding any resistance on top of it as another layer. So here's a phrase that I found that kind of helps kind of see what radical acceptance is. So, life can be painful, and certain situations can bring pain into our lives. And so, that pain is inevitable. However, the suffering that we feel is optional, is our responsibility. So it means like physical and emotional pain is an unavoidable part of life. But how long you stay in this mental anguish, like looping, how long you resist to it, or the stories you build around the situation, that pain, that's what causes the suffering. And that is a personal response. It is how you respond to the situation. So, what radical acceptance is teaching us, the practice that it's teaching us, is that it's helping us create that space between this painful event that happened and the suffering. So, the radical acceptance is in holding that space for it. So let's talk about like the resistance for a moment because maybe we don't quite see when we're resisting. So how does resistance show up? So resistance shows up in how we kind of that self-talk that we give ourselves. So for example, anytime that you have found yourself saying, this should not be happening right now, or why is this happening to me? Or this is just simply not fair, or I just can't simply accept this. Like, no. And so that is resistance. Now, are we going to say these things? Yes, we're human. These are going to automatically, especially our nervous system's going to automatically throw that, right? Our ego's automatically going to say that from a place of protection. So, know that if you know that you have said these things in before, or you find yourself that, hey, I say that a lot, like it's not fair, like why me? Just know that that's okay. It's a valid human response. It's the way that our nervous system protects us. So when you practice radical acceptance, it's also a beautiful way of being gentle with yourself and being able to catch that and tell yourself and your nervous system, you know what? We're going to be okay. I got this. We're going to learn from this experience. We're going to take action from this experience. This experience showed up for a reason. And that's where like the gentle compassion, self-love comes in through this acceptance. So know that these feelings are completely human and they're valid. But when we stay in this resistance, we add this second layer of pain on top of the original pain. And when we build these stories and we start looping, all this suffering can not only, we find that it doesn't only last like that one moment or that week or that month, but there, we do have the ability to start carrying this suffering with us for months, for years, for decades. And this kind of pain and suffering that we carry over an incident that sometimes we don't even remember exactly what it is, but we're holding on to that. That's what starts creating nervous system dysregulations, and that's what starts creating additional stress to the point where our body might even start feeling ill. So, learning how to practice radical acceptance is a beautiful way to help ease your nervous system, bring your self and your energy back to your own body, as well as bringing your power back to yourself. So think of it this way. Imagine you're like in quicksand. And we've seen like the more you struggle to fight, the deeper and quicker you're going to sink. So when you practice radical acceptance, you're learning to stop thrashing, right? Stop trying to do that. Not because the quicksand isn't real. The quicksand is so real. This is happening. And that event did happen. But fighting it and resisting it, it makes things worse, and you enter into that suffering space instead of being just in your space, clear-headed, and maybe you could even find, oh, there's a rope right here. This whole time, I could have just grabbed the rope and pulled myself out, right? So, but when you're fighting and you're thrashing, you might not even notice that the rope is there. So resistance does keep us stuck in the past of what should have been, and or it can keep us in the future of what we're afraid of is going to happen in the future. So that's kind of where the suffering lives. Well, not kind of. It is where suffering lives. It lives in your mind being in the past or your mind being in the future. So all your control and your power is always going to be in the present moment. So where acceptance brings us back to the right now, where we actually have some power. Our power lies in this present moment. And so I am going to do something different in this deep dive conversation. I'm actually going to share and be vulnerable with you because I had hit a very difficult experience for me early this month. And so, so happens to be radical acceptance, where I really had to practice radical acceptance. And I think I'm going to make it brief, but I feel like this is a way that, a way of understanding how, even though you could be on this path of inner work and understanding these concepts, when things hit you, that's not where your mind will quickly go. So, really quickly, when I got married, and when I was in the military, and when 9/11 happened, we were both serving, and my son was only 10 days old when 9/11 happened. And so we went through a lot at that time that led through getting a divorce. And so through that time, my ex-husband got married, and he ended up getting married. And so let's fast forward 24 years now. And I go visit my son for my birthday in New York, and he's not doing so well. He is out of a job, and he's just drinking a lot. And his girlfriend tells me he's had like a lot of self-criticism, and his self-esteem is really low. And he's a good kid, but he's having a hard time. And so, in talking to him and talking to her, it seems that his experience with his father's wife, she wasn't the very kindest person, and it seems like she put him down a lot. And that's starting to resurface in him. And he's having a hard time with feeling worthy. And so, because I was there on vacation, I didn't dive in deep. But as soon as I got to the airport, I felt like a punch in my heart and in my stomach. And all I can think of was, I feel guilty and I feel shame. And what if I would have never divorced his father? My son wouldn't be suffering. And I just felt like it's all my fault that my kid is where he's at. And it was horrible. I wanted to throw him on the plane with me and bring him back to LA and, like, help him. And I knew I couldn't do that. And so I was in this turmoil of having a hard time to accept that it's his journey, and that I couldn't go in the past. I couldn't, even as much as I would have wanted to, I can't go in the past to help him or to fix that or to change that. But the pain was very, very real. I felt so much hurt and regret and all these feelings that I think I have been holding them for a long time, but I didn't face them. And so, there were two things happening. One, I was feeling all this guilt for the divorce. But a second thing that was happening was that I was projecting this fear onto him because he did drink one of the days, and I got really mad at him. Like, what are you doing? Why are you, so drunk, blah, blah. And I was projecting that. And so I did the work. I sat down with my worksheet, and I knew that I couldn't, the suffering I was causing was so great that I couldn't move from that space. And so when I came to do the work, I came to the realization that there's nothing I can do about the past. The fear of my future, it's not even there yet, but I could do something from this moment. And the only thing I could do has nothing to do with him. It was me quieting, allowing myself to forgive myself for the misunderstanding that being married was going to solve my son's problem, and really sitting in that radical acceptance and just accept, hey, this is where he is. He's 24 years old. I know where I was at 24 years old, and it was a lot worse than where he was at. So, long story, I know, but the thing is, like, that helped me no. And in that present moment, I felt the power like, oh, if I stop projecting and if I stop blaming myself, I can be here for him when he calls and he needs an ear to listen. I will have more clarity to be able to help answer any questions that he has, or even open up the space to see if he is willing or would like to receive any guidance from me. So that's how I saw, oh, wow, this radical acceptance. Thank God I know about it now, because if not, who knows what I would have done. So that's just the story about how I experience radical acceptance, this and how it could show up, and how it's not an easy thing to accept sometimes at the very moment. But when you can allow that energy to kind of go there and then kind of bring your energy back, it is really, truly a beautiful thing. Oh, you're very welcome, Tanya. And so I have a few more examples. I do love putting some real life examples that maybe this story doesn't really connect with you, but there I give three other examples that might connect with you. So I'm going to share a screen right now and read those out to you. And let me know if you are unable to see that. Let me move this out of the way. Are you everyone able to see the screen here? And I think you can. So, oop, I have a lot of other little screens around it. So the first example is relationship from resentment to release. So the resistant thought would be in a relationship is, I can't believe that they did that to me. They should have known better. I'll never forgive them until they apologize. So that's how the resistance may show up in a event or scenario that involves a relationship. And so, how can we reframe that? How can we reframe that to be radical acceptance? So, that would be, this person acted in a way that hurt me. That's the reality. They hurt you. This is what happened. So, just the clear facts. I cannot change what they did, but I can choose how I carry this forward, right? Either cut that person out of your life, or just forgive them. You can forgive them and cut them out of your life, right? Forgiving does not mean condoning, and we will talk about forgiveness next month. So you'll have some tools around that as well. Um, Forgiving does mean freeing myself from the prison of resentment, and we'll be going through a little bit more of how we do that next month. And so I added a real life exercise here, which is something different that I did this month that I haven't done in the other months. Is that the a worksheet is this exercise here, so you have access to this. And the exercise is the letter you won't send. So you will be you can write a letter to this person or even to the situation that you're resisting. And you're going to say everything you wish you can say. You're going to write it all down. And at the end, you're going to write, and even so, I choose to release my grip onto this, not for you, but for me. And you don't send it. You can burn it, you can tear it, you can simply just close the journal. And the reason why we do that is that the act of writing is helps us move through acceptance. And also, it's a way to release that energy because it is an energy that we keep in our body. So we're just transferring that energy from in our body into writing because we don't want to hold that in. Um, Example number two is health and body. And so the resistant thought, and this is if you're ill, you can say, my body's failing me. I hate that I'm sick. I hate that I'm tired. I hate that I'm in pain. Why can't I just feel normal? This isn't the life I was supposed to have. You can also do this if you have like body image. You can apply that as well. And then the radical acceptance reframe would be, my body is doing its best with what it has right now. This is the body that I have today. I can grieve what I've lost and still choose to care for this body with compassion. I am not my diagnose. I am not my limitations. I am the one who gets to decide how I relate to all of it. So as you can see, this is putting power back into yourself. It's also when you say these things out loud, you're also rewiring your nervous system. You're also regulating your nervous system. And then the exercise that I chose for this is a body gratitude scan. So spending 5 minutes doing a slow scan of your body from head to toe for each area, even the painful ones, and say, thank you for trying. Now, this isn't toxic positivity. It's just shifting from adversary to ally. So you're practicing acceptance of your body as it is right now, not as you wish it were. So that is two exercise, and I have one more for you. And it didn't fit on the slides. Had to put it on a separate one here. There we go. And so, oh, I think that's the same one. Oh, no, it's not. It's over here. Okay. So then, and then the third one is the example is life circumstance. So moving from chaos to clarity. And so the resistant thought here is my life is a mess. Nothing is going the way I planned. I'm behind where I should be. I feel like a failure. And so the reframe for that would be this is where I am right now. Not where I plan to be, but where I actually am. And from exactly this place with exactly what I have. I get to decide what comes next. And let me tell you, there's so much power in that. My detour is not my destination. I accept this chapter as part of my story. And because there's always an amazing lesson, right, to be learned. And so the exercise for this is the acceptance inventory. So you're going to draw two columns. On the left, you're going to write everything in your situation that you're resisting. So this is not fair. This shouldn't be happening. You're just going to go ham and just write it all down. And then on the right side, you're going to write what actually is a fact. And then ask. So fact. Okay, fact. So let's use my son as an example. Sorry, kiddo. Um, Unemployed, right? That's a fact, right? Feeling like I'm a loser, that is not a fact, guys. Feeling like I'm a loser is a story we're telling each other, right? So you're going to list facts. And then, and then what you're going to do. So acceptance does not erase the left column. So then, I'm sorry, I lost myself here. Okay. And then ask if I accept column two as simply reality, not good, not bad, just real, what would I be free to do next? And this is such powerful work when we remove the labels and just look at it for what it is. If you have a hard time kind of stepping into that, um because sometimes we're in our mind, so we're trying to logically figure this out, but the answers are inside. So if you do this work and you're kind of getting stuck, I invite you to close your eyes. Closing your eyes helps you tap more into your subconscious, and then go ahead and tell yourself, if I remove this and not label this as good, bad, real, or anything, and I just sit with it, you know, and then what would I be free to do next? Trust me, that clarity will come. It's just a silence and it's listening to yourself. And so this acceptance does not erase the left column. It just stops giving it all its power, all your power to that. And then power is also energy. So when we're focusing on a lot of the things that we don't accept or resisting, we're also draining ourselves of energy. So I hope that those examples helped and that they made sense to you. So and I will be sending all of this to everyone on an email in the next few days. So don't feel like you are going to miss out on the information, and you'll get also a copy of this recording. So now we're going to move on to journal prompts. And because I'm kind of curious to see how you feel about the information and kind of start getting you to a point where you're thinking more about this. And so I'll be putting three journal prompts in the chat. And so here we go. And just taking a moment here to just sit with each journal prompt and feel into it. Feel into it. I'm going to put a little music here. I'm just going to take a few minutes here to just connect with it. So I'm sorry, I should be reading these journal prompts out to you guys. I got caught up. Okay, so journal prompt number one. What is one situation in your life right now that you are resistance to? So is there something right now that you might be finding that you're resisting? And what does that resistance feel like in your body? So once again, just closing your eyes alone just helps you tap in. And I know that that may feel scary, closing your eyes and going in there, it's not easy. So if you do find that, oops, I'm not ready for that, I close my eyes and I'm feeling way too much and that's just not where I want to be, that's okay. We want to be gentle. And if you continue to come to these classes and you continue to do the work, um, this work will be easier and easier and easier. It's a practice, it's a muscle. Inner work, it's called work and it's not easy. But once you start doing it and you start doing the practice, it does grow stronger. You grow stronger. It's so powerful and it's so worth it because you're worth it. Okay, prompt number two. If you fully accept this situation as real, fully accepting, okay, this is real, not as good or fair, but simply as real, what would change in how you feel or act? And prompt number three, what have you been waiting for? Permission. Have you been waiting for permission, for an apology, maybe a different outcome before allowing yourself to move forward? What would it feel like to stop waiting? And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. So if you would like to come on camera and share or chat, I do believe in keeping the intimacy and privacy of the group. So I'm going to stop recording here.